Hello, it's 5 o'clock. It's Thursday, and I'm Paul Stainton, and this is Live at 5. Welcome to the show. It's been it's been an eventful week, hasn't it? If you've never watched the show before, we basically take a look back at the week's news nationally, internationally, and for some reason around Peterborough. No, because nobody else does. Nobody else looks at the news in Peterborough. So we live here, we work here, and we have done since 1989. So if we can't be passionate about Peterborough, who can? That's the question. So say hello, get on the timeline. I should be able to see all your comments tonight. Post your comments up. Say hello. Roger's here. Hi, Rog. And I can even look. I've got a new tool that I can even highlight. I can even highlight your little things. Look when you comment on the show. So get on the Facebook timeline. All your comments tonight about whatever we're talking about. Say hello if you would as well, just so I know there's a few people watching, because we tend to get about, I think we're still getting over 1,000 people a week watching the show, so it's still worth doing. Tonight we're going to be talking about Posh and the McCann can. Carol's here, look. Hello, Carol. Welcome to the show. The McCann can, because Fergie's gone yet again. And McCann is back at the helm at 4 o'clock. He was unveiled at London Road, the press conference. What else on the show tonight? Well, we've got the lingo locker. We'll meet an amazing journalist who literally was reporting from the Ukraine before Vladimir went in with his tanks. And he was reporting from the Ukraine, this fella, in about 6 different languages. So he was doing like Luxembourg TV, Swiss TV, English TV, German TV, Russian TV, and just swapping languages. So clever. We're going to talk drunk ice skating, Skippy to the rescue, and we'll be looking at toast tits, because it's come to my attention after posting a picture of my breakfast the other morning that there are some right toast tits out there. And I'll tell you more about that later on in the show. We've also got Hum That Tune, which is going to be on. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the show, by the way. Hi, Chris. Yeah, prove Chris is listening. I can just click his little link. Comment on the show. Say good evening, and we can highlight you on the screen. So the reason we're going to be doing Hum That Tune tonight, and the prizes for Hum That Tune tonight are astounding, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a pot of Vladimir Putin's small man cream, so that'll sort it. If you're a small man, you've got small man syndrome, you get this pot of cream and you just rub it in, and then he's run out lately, which is why he's invading countries. So if you can get this small man cream that Vladimir Putin uses, I know a few other small men in Peterborough that rub it in, this small man cream, and it stops them invading other countries and raping and pillaging and doing all that stuff. So that's up for grabs tonight. You can get yourself a tin of Vladimir Putin's small man cream if you can guess the tune that I'm going to hum later. And you'll also get a go. I've managed to secure this prize. You'll also get a go on the London Road sideways bungee rope, which Fergie and McCann use a lot. You know, the sideways bungee. You're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. You'll get a go on that later. We were hoping tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to have a special guest. We were hoping to speak to Vladimir Putin's golfer half-brother. Not a lot of people know about this fella. His name's Igor Putin. Igor Putin, he's a golfer, but he couldn't make it tonight. He's still on the green because Putin is Putin. He's still Putin. If you know, yeah, Igor Putin, yeah. But he couldn't make it tonight. So we're going to speak to one of Posh's biggest fans, in more ways than one, about the ins and outs at London Road. It's going to be live on video, talking about Fergie and talking about McCann and London Road and blah, 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 and all that malarkey. Lucas says, hi, Paul. Hi, Lucas. Hope you're well. If you are just joining the show, get involved, get on the timeline. I want to see if you're watching the show. I want to see your name. Get on here, say hello. Also, hi, big boy. Mark Donagain's here. Hello, Mark. I'll just prove it. Look, I'll just prove it. Mark's here. Look, big boy. Mark Taylor's here, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Taylor, who constantly gets banned by Facebook, is on the show tonight. Welcome to it. Is Putin taller than Ronnie? Little Ronnie Barber. Little wee Ronnie Barber. Little wee. Yes, Putin is slightly taller than Ronnie Barber. But again, Ronnie has got the cream. He rubs in the small man cream It stops him, just storming into neighboring villages and raping women and bombing, old people's homes. If you put this cream on, it stops that small man syndrome. So you can't ever run out of it. So this week's news, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the jingle for this week's news. Of course, here we go. All expenses spared jingle, and you'll never hear a jingle like it. Absolutely fantastic. So in the news this week, Ukraine invaded by Putin. Just started a war in Europe because felt like doing it. Perfectly peaceful country, but he fancied a war, bit of barbarism, little man syndrome. And NATO's chief calling on Russia to immediately cease military action, withdraw its forces from Ukraine, and choose diplomacy, because that's going to happen. Of course it is. And then our defense secretary this morning took a rather, I think it's an unwise sort of stand. He decided that he was going to say this. This is our defense secretary, Ben Wallace. He says Putin's gone full Tonto and hails Britain's success in the Crimean War as the troops nervously laugh. He looked back to the Crimean War and said, "We've kicked their butts once, we'll do it again." And then Stuart Orme, who is a fantastic historian, Stuart Orme, put him right. Someone might like to point out to the Defence Secretary that quite apart from it being an unqualified success, the Crimean War, British forces didn't actually arrive to participate in it until 1854. So when it was almost over, basically. But we've responded. I don't know if you've seen the government's response to the invasion. Liz Truss, she's responded. She's unveiled another set of rather moody pictures of her in Moscow, looking all wistful. Yeah, that's going to stop them. And Boris has cancelled all the Tesco club cards of Russians living in the UK. So from now on, Abramovich and his mob are going to have to pay full price for the vodka. Then there'll be no discount with the club card. It's all been sorted. And then this afternoon, Tory MPs accusing Boris Johnson of encouraging the invasion with pathetic sanctions that Putin doesn't give a shit about. That's a quote. It's not me swearing. That's a quote from the comments. They get away with saying shit and stuff in the comments, because they've got parliamentary privilege. They can call people liars. They can say things they get sued for outside of the comments, and they can say the word shit. So if they can do it, why not me? And the MP that did it was an MP called Tom Tugendhat. No, seriously. That's his name, Tom Tugendhat. Yeah. Carol's here. Hi, Carol. Who else is here? Who else is on the show? Mark's been let off Facebook again. Yes, he has. He's back. He's back in the game. Hiya, sexy, all good, babe. Ken's here. Ken and Heather, me lovelies, watching the show. Hello, welcome to the show. Mark's here, just saying hello. So many of you getting involved. Really, really, thank you for tuning in tonight. Much appreciated. But yeah, as we sit tonight, poor old Ukraine, invaded by an absolute nut job. Small man syndrome. And he'll probably attack me with cyber warfare for calling him a nut job. But I think he's one of these blokes. He's got to 70 and he's thought, I'll be dead soon, so I'll do something before I go. I'll invade a few countries. It's got that Hitler thing going. A bit, and we're like the useless parents, aren't we? Them useless parents that you see in Pizza Hut. Oh, don't do that, Dorothy. No, don't do that. No, come on, Dorothy. Come on. And we're doing that with pizza. Don't do that, Vladimir. Please, Vladimir. Oh, no, we're going to stop you using your credit card. Oh, don't do it, Vladimir. And we're like those parents that you see in Pizza House and McDonald's and what have you. We are those people. Who else is joining the fray tonight? Who's with us? How dare you steal Boris's thunder live at 5, says Mark. Why, is Boris on the telly? Is he? Cyber warfare, says Ken. Nah, just don't sniff any perfume you find in the local park. No, I won't. Well, I don't live near Salisbury anyway, so I'm all right. Prince Andrew can't get me. Was that Salisbury? I was Woking, wasn't it? It was Woking. Yeah, pizza place. Yeah. So what else is happening in the news this week? Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's back at London Road. The man himself, Mr. McCann, is back. ball? I don't know. So Fergie's gone and McCann is back at London Road. And with us to have a little chat about goings on at the Posh. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to one of Posh's biggest fans. Although not as big as he used to be. Hey! Because you've not been very well, have you, AD Moles? Welcome to the show.
No, well, last year, all done now. Sort of.
Yeah. Cancer of the tongue, was it? That must have been a killer.
Yeah, for somebody who talks as much as me, but yeah.
I'm glad you're over it, mate.
It was. My missus was delighted for 3 months.
Yeah, I bet she was. I bet she was. So what's going on? Why did Fergie go? Did it just get so embarrassing even he couldn't stand it anymore?
I just think he probably went too late in hindsight, because it's not really left Grant, as it happens to be, very long. But I just think he thought those games that were coming up were games we needed the points. He was confident that we would get the points and then we would get the season back on the run, and it didn't happen. I think he was just burnt out in the end. I just think he lives that job. He lives for Posh, and it all just got too much. I think he was completely some of the interviews he was doing after the games and everything was horrible to see.
I mean, I thought at the start of the season, I mean, I know the financial constraints that Posh work under. I know they've got a small budget and the owners are not multi-millionaires. They're not Russian oligarchs. But I just thought the cup needed, if they were serious about staying in the championship, they needed a couple of championship type players, with a bit of knowledge and experience. And they never got it.
I think they did. In hindsight, of course, is a perfect science. But
no, we've been there before, though, haven't we? Not doing that.
Well, yeah, we have. And I just genuinely think we can't do it. And also, you run the risk if you get 2 or 3 in at, obscene numbers like 15, 18, 20,000 pounds a week.
Yeah.
And you got players in that squad that got you promoted on a quarter of that. It's a very good way to rock the boat. And then if it doesn't work, you've got all that, toxic feeling in the dressing room as well. They're going to get the blame from the supporters, etc., etc. There's no guarantee it's going to happen. And even doing things like that, we play Sheffield United the other week. We're in the game. We're doing all right at home. And they bring on a £22 million player and a player that was on 40k a week when he was in the Premier League with them.
Yeah.
We bring on a 19-year-old from Colchester.
Yeah, it sort of puts it. Do we just have to get, as Posh fans, do you just have to get used to the fact that a trip to the Championship is a cherry that you'll get now and again, but the cake's in League One, really?
I think staying in it is almost self-perpetuating. So if you stay in it for one season, you get the relative riches, nothing like the Premier League. I mean, literally 5-6 million, which sounds a massive amount of money, but isn't really. And the TV money on top of that takes it to 7 or 8. Again, sounds massive, but it's not really. It's certainly not in comparison to the Premier League, which is, crazy amounts of money. But I think if you keep one season in, I think you can then build on that, just little bit on that. Hopefully not spending too much money, because obviously the academy is beginning to produce bit by bit.
Yeah.
If we can get that happening a bit more, that would be the plan. That is the process that the owners have, and I know they get ridiculed for using that word, but it's a project, it is a process, and it's something that they're very keen on, and they understand the reality. And the reality is they can't just go out and buy a £20,000 a week player who's going to want that money regardless of whether we get relegated or not.
Yeah. So what difference can McCann make? I mean, and what is it about keep bringing the same managers back? Is it because Darragh likes to be in control and he knows he can control Fergie, he can control McCann? Is that what it's all about?
I don't think it's a control so much. He likes to be involved on the football side of things. I don't think he overly, despite what people say, I don't think he overly interferes with managerial decisions, but I think he's been let know if he doesn't agree with them. But I think Fergie or McCann are not strong enough to stand up to him. I think they both are. You remember Grant as a player, he lovely left foot on.
Well, I think we might have lost you here, AD. I think we might have lost you, mate. I think your signal's gone.
I think so.
No, we're gonna have to lose you there, my friend. The signal's just gone, but I think we got the gist of what AD was trying to say. That This season's almost over for Posh, and McCann coming in, maybe he'll make difference long term, but will he make the difference? In the short term, or do Posh fans just have to get used to this season? And go down and then come back up. Who knows? Chris says Posh in the Premier League. Why not? Brentford did it. Bournemouth did it. The Ferguson apple fell a long way from the tree, says Mark Taylor. Well, you would say that. I'll wager McCann can't, says Mark. Yeah, right. I think I've got 80 back now, so I'm going to bring him back. 80, your signal's improved. I'm going to ask you one more thing, and then we're going to move on. Can McCann keep them up? Will he be judged on that?
If any man can, McCann can.
McCann can.
McCann can. There you go. Thank you, Edwin, for that.
Yeah,
not,
I spoke to Edwin this week. Actually, Edwin Overland. He's not been very well, but he's on good form. Yeah, we've lost 80. His signal's gone. So anyway, I was talking Posh on the Facebook earlier on this week, and Fergie resigned after the Derby game when Derby brought on a load of kids that even their own fans didn't know the name of, and Posh lost in the last minute to a goal, and I thought it was a bit embarrassing. Then it reminded me of embarrassing things that have happened to me, times when you've gone a little bit red, when it's not gone very well. Must be using Posh's Wi-Fi, says Roger. Like the team, very weak. Stop it. It's not nice. So I was thinking about embarrassing performances, and then I was reminded by somebody quite nicely that once I played for Chris Turner's Chairman's 11 in a charity game, and Chris Turner actually substituted me. Not that I was playing badly, I didn't think, but Chris Turner once substituted me and didn't bring anybody on. That was the most embarrassed I think I've been, because there was quite a big crowd. I think it was in Whittlesea. We were playing a Spurs team, and I got kicked up in the air by one of these ex-Spurs stars when I could run about a bit. And Chris Turner just, all right, ref, bring him off. And the ref said, right, who are you bringing on? He went, nobody. Bringing anybody on. So I think that's the most embarrassed I've been. But many of you got in touch about the times when you've been embarrassed. Toby Wood from the Civic Society on Twitter says, I once took a group of children to Wembley to watch an England youth game in the 70s. I went to the toilet and my wrapped up cagoule slipped out of my hand and fell into the urinal trough and slowly floated away. I often wake up in a cold sweat about that incident, but that was very embarrassing. Neil Johnson says, up the Posh. Yeah, McCann can do it, can he? He can do it. Surely he can do it. A lot of love for Adi on the timeline as well tonight. Alan's been on. He says, I missed the first few moments. Just woke up from my afternoon nap. I agree. Stuart Orme, top man. Often used to drop in for a chat with him. Yeah, he runs the Cromwell Museum in Huntingdon now. He's a very, very nice man. And I used to love our chats on the Peterborough Breakfast Show with Stuart Orme. Every time he came in, it's just a delight, an absolute delight to speak to him on the radio. Brilliant stuff. What else have we got? Oh, yeah, Richard Ferris, former councillor, says, I've always been red, Paul. Yeah, I know. But the time an old lady pinched my bum was right up there for being embarrassed. I was wearing Lycra cycling gear at the time, and I think she'd been dared to pinch my bum. And no, the story doesn't end with, and she went on to become my wife. She just pinched my bum. No. What else we got? Oh, Colin Martin says, when Posh had true fans and not pot hunters. Honestly, I believe if Chris Turner or Noel Campbell had been given funds, Posh would be an established championship team by now. But standards were a lot higher back then, says Colin Martin. Yeah, maybe you're right. And Chris Turner did not have a lot to work with back in the day, did he? What else? We got Tamazin. When I was heading to my new boyfriend Craig's place the first time, I was worried I'd get lost. So I texted him to ask, could he meet me on the corner of this dark lane in the country? Embarrassingly, Paul, I sent it to my boss, also a Craig, who replied, he will not meet me, and please never send a text like that to him again. Andy's here. Hello, Andy. You're a bit late on parade, mate, but, welcome to the show. Andy Garth is here. Anybody else got anything to say about Posh or any comments about when you've been embarrassed? Please get your stories on the timeline on Facebook, and they're coming through to me loud and clear on my new software where I could just put people's names up like Mark Taylor. Look at that. He's there. Yeah. Ooby-doo. I want to be like you. And Lindsay's been embarrassed. Lindsay's very embarrassed. This 2 or 3 years ago, Paul. Very, very hot summer morning. I got up and sat under my ceiling fan in my dining room with no clothes on, just fanning myself down. Because it was hot last summer, wasn't it? You know, so she got up, completely starkers, sat underneath the fan, getting a bit of waft. Oh, says Lindsay. And then it was a bad idea because the oil delivery man came that morning, looked in through the window, and had a good gulp. Yeah, he's out of rehab now, says Lindsay. Emma says, embarrassing. When my son was in his buggy in Tesco's, a man kept giving me really weird looks, says Emma. As we were both going along the same aisle, I wondered why. Then I saw he had a coat belt dangling. My son was trying to grab it, touching the guy's bum as we were going along the aisle. Cole says, breaking news, Grant McCann resigns as manager of Posh. Dan Ferguson, favourite to replace him. Yeah, it is a bit of a sideways bungee, isn't it, at London Road? You know, if you're Ferguson or McCann, you're in, you're out, you shake it all about, you do the okey cokey and you turn around. I don't think the London Road Stadium needs sorting out, says Chris. Really? Oh, it does. It's getting old. It's getting very old. Very old. What else we got? Oh, John Walker, former Posh, says, when I was doing a live interview with you, Paul, in the studio once, promoting a Posh Legends game versus Arsenal, you asked me who was playing for the Arsenal side. And I said live, and he's the one who has, with Kerry Katona on Celebrity Big Brother, Get Me Out of Here. Yeah, you did. You mentioned sexual things. Not very good. Not very good at all. What else are we going to do tonight? Oh, we're going to talk about the lingo locker. That's coming up later on, inspired by a foreign journo who reported from Ukraine and did it in about 7 or 8 different languages, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. Absolutely fantastic. We've also got, I'm going to be looking at the Wheatsheaf pub, which was boarded up. So we're going to do that on Eastfield Road, if you've ever been to it. And the A to Z of animals in film and TV. And there's a reason we're doing the A to Z of animals, because I just caught sight of an old Lassie film this week. I don't know why. I was just scrolling through Sky, when there's nothing on. And I'm not kidding. I sound like my dad again. But I've got more channels than I've ever had. I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon, I've got Sky. I think I've got Disney. I don't know. I think I might still have Apple. I'm on a free trial. I don't know. Millions of channels. And it's Tuesday night. There's nothing on. And you're flicking through. And I caught a little bit of, I think it was Lassie Come Home with Elizabeth Taylor. And it just got me thinking, I could take everybody's mind off World War III on Facebook tomorrow morning and mention it and do the A to Z of animals in TV and film. And this went really well. So I gave L to Lassie because Lassie was good. I mean, she was like a dog version of Skippy, wasn't she? She would, and we'll give S to Skippy as well, because Skippy, the bush kangaroo. And Skippy was brilliant because, like Lassie, it could communicate without speaking that a man had fallen down a ravine. And in Skippy's case, get the helicopter. There's a man in a ravine. And Lassie was of a similar ilk. She could rescue people without even speaking. So S for Skippy. Although Claire Lors says it should be S for Scooby-Doo. Yeah, it could be. Ben was the name of the bear in Grizzly Adams, says Ray. Can we give B to Ben the bear from Grizzly Adams? Well, we could. Chris says, any mention of Mary Taylor in that Clint Eastwood film, that orangutan? Oh, you mean Mark Taylor? He has a look of Clyde, doesn't he? Right turn, Clyde. Yeah. Don't have a go at each other on the timeline. You're messing about. Andy Garther's got a suggestion. I don't remember this one. Andy says V on the A to Z of animals in TV and film. V should go to Vienna out of Rising Down. What was Vienna? Was it a cat? Or was it a dog? I don't remember Vienna. Hello, Miss Jones. Alan Brocklebank says that big St. Bernard in Belle and Sebastian. Was it a St. Bernard? I don't remember that either. J for Jaws, says Alan. Are we including sharks now, are we? Oh, okay. That killed and maimed people. One of my favourite films, says Ray, was Snow Dogs starring Demon. Never seen it. Pauline Knowles has gone H for Hooch, for Turner and Hooch. Oh, it was Rigsby's cat, was it, Ken? Vienna. I don't remember that. I don't remember it. I don't remember the cat at all. There's a lot of cats and dogs in TV shows, isn't there, and films. Mrs. Slocum's cat has been sorted out by Zuma, says Chris Cullum. But she never referred to it as a cat, did she? She always says my pussy, just for comedic effect. C for Clarence, the cross-eyed lion, says Mark Taylor. That was in Daktari, wasn't it? I loved a bit of Daktari. Clarence, the cross-eyed lion. That was great. F for Flipper, says Pauline. K's got to be for Kermit. Immensely talented frog. I mean, singer, presenter, reluctant lover. Kermit had it all, didn't he? Compost ferret, says Chris Atton. Yeah, we could go with ferrets. Yeah, we'll take that. B for bouncer. That's from Claire. Darwin the dolphin in Sequest. You see, some of these shows, I've never heard of them. Never heard of Sequest. S has got to be for Shep from Blue Peter. That's from Peter Gaskin. Get down, Shep. J is for my beautiful Jager. Miss you, big boy, says John McGowan Cooper. One of our American cousins, John McGowan Cooper. This is what happened on Facebook as well. As soon as John posted that, everybody then started just posting pictures of their own cat or dog, and it became a bit of a sort of feline, canine loving with everybody's animals. It's not quite what we were using it for, but, never mind. Steve Gonzalez says, Paul, C is for, like a streak of lightning flashing across the sky, like the swiftest arrow whizzing from a bow, like a mighty cannonball he seems to fly. You'll hear about him everywhere you go. The time will come when everyone will know the name of Champion the Wonder Horse. I used to love that on a Saturday morning. Saturday mornings, I mentioned this before. Saturday morning TV when I was a kid. So what? That would be the 70s. We had the Monkeys. We had Arabian Nights. You'd have Scooby-Doo. You'd have the Flintstones. You'd have the Hair Bear Bunch. You'd have Daktari. What else did we have on Saturday morning? Obviously, Swap Shop, Tiswas. And we only had 3 channels, but you had all these fantastic shows. And what was the other thing? Was it what was the hamster thing near a river? Oh God, what was that? There was a hamster. Was it Tales from the Riverbank or something like that? Pretty rubbish. Mr. Ed, says Andy Garth. Yeah, Mr. Ed. B for Black Beauty, says Roger Morrow. Y for Yogi Bear. Oh, and Chris Cullum. Keith Harris duck. Well, the duck was oval, wasn't it? I've got a story about Keith Harris. Do you want to hear it? Do you want to hear it? Muffin the Mule, says Chris. Yeah. You get done for that. I've got a story about Keith Harris. So Keith Harris and Orville were playing the Theatre Royal, Nottingham. I was DJing at a nightclub next door. So Madison nightclub's one side. There's I think they've got a tram stop there now, and then the Theatre Royal was there. And Keith Harris liked to drink, so he'd come in after the show on a Saturday night. I think he was there for about 3 or 4 weeks. I think he was in Panto, and he'd come in on a Saturday night. And what an awful, awful man he was! Awful man, terrible. And he would demand this and demand that. And we had a restaurant in the middle of the nightclub. Do you remember them days when you had a restaurant? It was packed. And he would demand the best table, and I want to sit here, I don't want to sit there. A thoroughly, thoroughly unpleasant man, really. Orville was much better, really well behaved. C is for Cheetah the monkey from Tarzan, says Roger. Yeah. Did Mark Taylor play the chimp, says Chris. No, stop it now. Stop it. Lucas has stuffed Orville the duck, says Chris Atton. Really? What about those donkeys that play at London Road, says Chris. No, stop it now. Stop it. Get off my timeline. Harry and the Hendersons, says Mark Donagain. Yeah, we can. I'm sure we can include Bigfoot. That was a great show. Very funny show. Craig Beattie, S for Snoopy. D for Dino in the Flintstones, and Y for Yogi Bear. Tarka the Otter from Michael Fulcher. S for Snowy in Tintin, says Jenny Mogford. And Wellard in EastEnders from Billy Young. And Terrell Worthington has given us a plethora of names in the A to Z of animals in TV and film. So he's got, and I think he's a fan of a particular show. I might be wrong. Terrell Worthington has gone for Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, Leonardo, and Shredder. Yeah, I think he's a fan of the what's the face? What are they called? What is that? I'm getting so old. My brain's gone. Ninja Turtles, that's it. Skippy the Bush Kangaroo, says Rick Eames. I've already done it. Do you not hear me? Skippy, Skippy, Skippy the Bush Kangaroo. Can I have B for Bagpuss, says Steve Essien. You can. You can have B for Bagpuss. And don't forget, still to come on the show between now and 6. God, we're half an hour in. Still to come on the show, we've got Hum That Tune, which is going to be a topical tune. And if you've never seen the show before, it's just me humming a tune. You have to guess what it is. The prize is tonight a pot of Vladimir Putin's small man cream, which he'd run out of, which is why he's gone to war. Because now the small man syndrome that he suffers from, and all small men suffer from, he didn't have the cream, rub on, he's gone to war. So you can, particularly if you are a small man, Ronnie, if you're watching, you little wee man, I don't know, Wayne Fitzgerald, any of them, to stop them raping and pillaging, neighboring counties, you could win this tonight. It's a tin of Vladimir Putin's small man cream. It will stop any tendencies you have to have small man syndrome. And we've also got to go on the London Road sideways bungee rope. So you can have a go on that. We'll have to kick McCann off it. But you'll get a go on it later. So that's the prizes tonight for Hum That Tune, which is coming in a little bit of time. Not just yet, but it'll be here later. So keep going. Now, something that was brought to my attention on Facebook was the fact that you guys have a problem when it comes to with that, but I was very happy with it because I do like a crust, butter, proper butter, none of this margarine muck, and strawberry jam, or sometimes marmalade, normally strawberry jam. So I posted that thinking, odd, weird, funny, and people just started being weird, and it's come to my attention that there are a lot of toast tits out there. Yeah, you are toast tits. And it could be you if you've been on my timeline. You forgot Danger Mouse and Penfold, says Roger Morrow. I did. You're right. D for Danger Mouse. So Mark Donagain's seen the picture of my two crusts. That's not a euphemism. And he's just posted, you need loads of butter and HP sauce. But in the morning for your breakfast, butter and HP sauce. Well, I'll let it go. And then Chris Cullum come on. He says, the bread should be laid on its side, Paul. I mean, I didn't realise there was an etiquette to toasting bread because I stood it up, stood it to attention, if you'd like. But Chris wanted me to put it on its side. Now, I didn't realise etiquette was a thing when it came to toast. And in fact, Martin Curtis, not a fan of the crust, former leader of Cambridge County Council, not a fan of the crust at all, which is madness. That way lies madness. Yeah, rubbish. Did you know that the guy who played Harry in Harry and the Hendersons also had the first two Predator actors? Really? Did he? Really? Don't know. Anyway, so the toast continues. This is toast at breakfast, by the way. Kevin Hawkes. Marmite on that. You should be having Marmite on it. Not for breakfast. This is madness. And Mark Taylor went with Marmite. Chris Payne went with Marmite peanut butter. Which is, peanut butter... Crunchy peanut butter, not had it for a few years, don't mind it. But Marmite peanut butter, it's taking it to extremes. It's just ridiculous. Paula Clark, crust with sugar on. I mean, who has these things? Who eats these things? What do you put on your toast? Are you a toast tit? Or are you a normal person? Have you become a toast tit? I don't know. Crunchy peanut butter's lovely, says Dorothy. No, stop it. Stop it now. Stop it. One with Marmite, one with honey, main and dessert, says D Frost. See what I mean? It's just madness. And Peter went a bit further. Peter said, just needs 2 eggs, 2 sausages, 3 bits of bacon, some beans, mushrooms, black pudding, and a few hash browns. It'd be perfect. Oh, and another 4 slices of toast, says Peter. No, you don't. But stop it with this from Alan. He says, does eating the crust make your hair curly? That's what my gran used to say. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make your hair curly at all. But anybody put anything weird on your toast, I'd like to hear from you on the show tonight. Just get on the timeline, post on Facebook your comment, and it'll come straight through to me. And I will read it out, or I might highlight it like I did with this one from Chris Hatton. You see? There you go. We can get them up on screen and have a chat about them. What else have we got tonight? Oh, yes, we got this. I want to go to Eastfield Road, ladies. They were happy days. They were happy days. But it's all boarded up. Nobody wants it anymore. And it was interesting because I put it up on Twitter and Facebook, and how many people got involved and said, the wheat sheaf on Eastfield Road, which is right next to Peterborough Regional College. A lot of people say it's one of the reasons they didn't pass their exams was because they spent so much of their time in the wheat sheaf on Eastfield Road. Ken says, when you show pics, your sound goes. Oh, does it? Oh, right. Okay. I didn't realize that. Thank you for letting me know, though. Thank you for letting me know. But as I was saying about the wheat sheaf, it used to be my local because I lived in Bower Close, just off Eastfield Road, one of my first houses in Peterborough. So we go in there and watch people fighting and sit in the car park, breathing in the fumes from all the cars going down Eastfield Road. Beautiful. And it was the first pub on my stag night as well. That's where we went for our first drink. And then we went all the way down Eastfield Road, went to all the various places. And then we got to the Prince of Wales, just on Monument Street. I had to wait to get served because the landlady was having a fight with one of the female customers. So when she'd finished pulling her hair and banging her head on the thing, she actually literally dusted herself down and she started pouring our drinks, which was very funny. If the sound's cutting out when the pictures are coming up, I'll sort that for next week, but I won't put any more pictures up. I'll sort that. All right. So I just posted on Facebook this week because obviously a lot of people were saying that they went to the wheat sheaf and drank underage. And it got me thinking about underage drinking because lots of people did it, didn't they, back in the day? Lots of people. Where did you have your first drink? Where did you have it? Before the age you were supposed to have it. We used to love, when I was at school in Gull, we used to have a monthly trip to Sheffield Ice Arena, go ice skating. And the only reason we used to go, so underage tipples, wherever you've had an underage drink back in the day, let me know on the timeline tonight. So we used to go ice skating in Sheffield every month. The sole aim was to get as many pints of, I think it was Samuel Webster's bitter, awful stuff. And they used to have those glasses, those old-fashioned glasses with the sort of squares, bits of glass round, a handle on, drink it. And we'd see how many we could have, and then we'd be bang out on the ice, a little bit, all over the shop. And we had good fun. It was great times. But I remember once my mate of mine, he lost a little bit of his end off his finger because he'd had 3 or 4 pints. And we were only like, what were we, 15? Something like that. And he just put his hand down on the ice when he fell over, and somebody just went right across it, and he lost the tip of his finger. Underage tipples, please. Carol's been on. Hold on. Carol's been on. She's still talking about toast here. Hold on. Carol says, to be honest, Paul, the crust has to be toasted upward in a toaster, let it cool down, spread proper butter on, then add homemade jam. That's correct. I'll give you that, Carol. Absolutely spot on. Yeah, spot on. And Chris is still going on about sandwiches. Chris is, this is Mark here as well. Mark, Marmite and marmalade. That's disgusting. That is disgusting, Mark. Terrible stuff. Underage tipples. This is Rick here. Peter Pan, Eastern Avenue. That was where he had his little boozy time before he left school. And this from Posh Nigel, who says, you just mentioned the Wheat Sheaf pub, Paul. The pub is, I am sure, the single reason why I failed A-level biology at Peterborough Regional College. Lecture on a Friday afternoon. How silly. Love the place. So sad to see it boarded up now. What's wrong with students these days? Why can't they keep the place open? Are we encouraging underage drinking? Is that what we're doing? I think probably in the 70s and 80s and 90s that, there were less checks on underage drinking. So we got away with it, didn't we? Yeah. Steve Thorpe, Free Kicks Foundation, says, we used to be down at Wheatsheaf every night as 17, 18-year-olds playing pool and loading up the video jukebox. Oh, yeah. And I've got a picture. I really do want to show you this picture. So I'm gonna bring it up. Lewis Hall got in touch. And he sent me a picture on Facebook of him and his mates in the Wheatsheaf. He didn't say what year it was. So I'm going to be quiet now, but I'm going to show you the picture. So this is Lewis Hall and his friends inside the Wheatsheaf pub. Here you go. Oh, I've got. That's got to be 80s. It's got to be the 80s, isn't it? I would have thought. Those hairstyles and everything looks like the 80s to me. Definitely. Yeah. But that was Lewis Hall and his friends all inside the Wheatsheaf pub back in the day. Andy Garth says, we drank underage in the police club in Old Bridge Street after a posh match. You see what I mean? It wasn't a thing, was it? I don't remember. We used to have Viking Raiders football do once a month in Gull when I was about 15 as well, 16. And the thing was to get a ticket for that, and get in. And then you get in, and then you still had the, I've got to get served. Date of birth, 13th of the 12th, 1964. And you'd get a pint, you think, yes. But you'd have a couple of pints, go home, throw up. And, it was part of growing up. Emily says, how many times did we go in the Wheatsheaf on lunchtime, college breaks, sometimes even before college, summer lunch breaks, having a cheeky Malibu in the beer garden so the others didn't get caught having an underage drink? Always good memories in the Wheatsheaf, says Emily. Mark Deakin says, the Royal was the place for a cheeky little drink before you were allowed it. Never got checked for ID. And Lewis says that picture, that was us just turned 16 before starting at Peterborough Regional College, soon having regular lunchtime pints in the Wheatsheaf. I think it was John Smith's or Webster's Yorkshire Bitter. It was about £180 a pint. I think he's missed a decimal point down. Only time I ever got ID'd in there was on A-level results day when I just turned 19. Happy days, says Lewis Hall. Mark Windsor Hampton says, in my underage tipple was in RAF Singapore. There was a trick, says Mark, a little trick. The brewery would deliver crates of bottled beer to the mess, but some would be empty as per the low standard of filling. The brewery would expect returns. My dad, not the only one, would place a coin on top of a bottle and lever open the cap, drink the beer and reseal the cap, which wouldn't leave a mark. It was utter genius, says Mark Windsor Hampton. Utter genius. Yeah. Drinking underage, all part of growing up in them days, says Mark Taylor. Yeah, well, it sort of was, wasn't it? And I remember as well, I worked as, I think I must have been about 14. I worked as a shelf stacker at Leo's Superstore, which was the first superstore we got up in Yorkshire, up in Gull. It was a co-op, really, but they called it Leo's. And I did the shelf stacking, and I really enjoyed the job, actually. I worked really hard, and I got really, really trusted. Why would you? And at Christmas, they used to put me on the beer in the, we had a separate bit for the beer and spirits, but I'd be there filling up the tins. So cans of Special Brew and Hofmeister and all that sort of stuff. And so many of the tins would be split in the middle. I don't know quite how it happened, but there were always splits in the tins of beer. Very, very, very tricky. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Mark says, 16 and my first illegal pint at the Golden Lion in Stanground. Sadly, also closed and fallen into disrepair. Yeah, so many of these pubs are gone. It's like, you can't really do, you certainly can't do the Crown to Town. We've talked about that before. The Crown to Town virtually, you can't do it. And I'm not sure you can walk down Eastfield Road anymore and have a drink. On our stag do, I remember we went all over the place. It was a little bit hazy, but, we had, I think, 4 or 5 drinks on Eastfield Road. And I can only think of 2 or 3 pubs now. I think we went off Eastfield Road and round the back somewhere. There's a pub round the back somewhere. And then, going into town, past the Fiddlers. Never went in the Fiddlers, of course. Full of reprobates. What else? What else we got? Oh, Carol Ann Wood. This is a good one. Carol Ann Wood says, my friend and I used to go to a pub in Downham Market where we grew up called the Castle Hotel. It's still there, but in the 70s, they had discos every Friday. We got served alcohol from the age of 16. We never knew what to have, so we went for Lager and lime. Can I have a lager and lime? It must have been so sickly. There was another pub, the Swan, where it was joked you could get served in a pram. They were so laid back. That's where most of the underage drinking happened. The Swan, says Carol Ann Wood. Yeah, we had some drinks back then, didn't we? What was the Pernod Cider and Black people used to drink when I was a kid? Oh my word, that was a killer. Especially if you were sick, because it was just like black projectile. Oi, leave the fiddlers out, says Mark Taylor. Yeah. Rick says Nag's Head, Wally Street. It's where I did a little bit of drinking. And Mark's got questions. Is the duck old enough to drink? By the way, where is the duck tonight? Is he drunk? Yeah, if you're just watching the show for the first time, by the way, sometimes we have a duck call in to the show. It didn't ring last week, didn't come. I don't know if he's all right. I don't know if he's ill. I don't know what's wrong with him. But the duck didn't appear on the show last week, so we never know. Does the duck prefer orange liqueur, says Roger. And maybe he does. I don't know. Orange, duck à l'orange. Jenny says, I used to drink lager and lime as well, but it was better than Baby Sham. I'll have a Baby Sham. I don't remember. Was Baby Sham like Prosecco, wasn't it? Was it fizzy? I never drunk it, but Prince of Wales, Eastfield Road, says Barbara McManus. Yeah, that was a second stop on my stag do, where the landlady was bashing some woman's head in. We literally had to stand there and wait till she finished fighting and then allow her to serve us. I've never drunk a drink so quick. What else? Oh, yeah, there were some naff drinks around when we were kids, says Jenny Mogford. Much better today's Alka-Pops, a bit more sophisticated. I used to drink vodka and lime, says Jenny. I'll never touch another brandy and Baby Sham, though, because big headaches for Jenny Mogford with the brandy and Baby Sham. Purple Nasty was a drink, says Andy Garth. What was in a Purple Nasty? Yeah, what was in there? I used to like, what's the Pernod? I used to love a Pernod. Pernod's, but it's the devil's drink, Pernod. I remember once going to France working for the BBC, and I think it was Marseille actually. Newcastle were playing Marseille, and we'd done all the filming and everything. And if you've ever been to Marseille, it's a massive port, and it's like in a U shape, and the bars are all around the port. And there was a former Pernod called Paul Ricard. I don't know if you've heard of it. And at this particular bar, there was all these different bits of different variations of Paul Ricard, the drink. So different variations of like a Pernod-based drink. And my cameraman insisted that we have one of everything. And I had to do lives for the TV the morning after. Oh my God. It's like somebody was just knocking on my head the morning after. Like, let me out. And I did it though. Professional. Jenny says another venue of mine for underage drinking was the Sir Isaac Newton on Castle Hill in Cambridge. I was slightly less underage then, says Jenny. Yeah, they're still there, the Sir Isaac Newton. Yeah, I went in there probably a year ago and had a little sandwich. Yeah. Any more underage drinking, please? I'll have them. Geology school field trip to Congleton, Derbyshire, says Mark. Someone in our class looked old enough to order pints, so he bought the lot of us. Can't remember the next day. Neither did our teacher because he took the day off, says Mark Winterhampton. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much for all them. Really appreciate the underage drinking and the honesty that's coming out tonight. I feel like we're bonding. You know, we've got a lot of honesty going on. What else have we still got to do? Oh, we've got to do Hum That Tune. Should we do that now? Should we do Hum That Tune now? We'll do it a little bit early because we've been going about 50 minutes, 48 minutes. Let's do Hum That Tune now. Tonight on Hum That Tune, the prizes, oh my word, the prizes tonight. You've got a free go on the London Road sideways bungee rope, the one that Fergie and McCann use. You know, they're this way and then they're out and they're in. Yeah. And we've also got that pot of Vladimir Putin's small man cream, which if he'd had it, would have stopped him invading the Ukraine. Because you know what small men are like? If they don't use the cream, they get carried away. So here comes the song. I just want you to try and guess what I'm humming, if you will, please. Couple of comments before we do. A couple of comments first. Mark says, we had 4 pubs in the village of Falmere and a social club, and I had a drink in most of them before I was old enough. Now only 1 pub. How about the drink called Snakebite? Not my cup of tea, said Mark. No, that was just cider and lager, wasn't it, Snakebite? I think they banned it in some places, didn't they? Yeah. Yeah, it was a cool drink when Paula was young as well. Yeah, I'm sure it was cider. half a cider, half a lager in a pint glass, and boom, Bob's your uncle. Loads of underage girl in Shanghai Sam's. You would know, Paul, says Mark. Hey, we didn't let people in underage. No, you had to wear a suit to get in our place. You couldn't get in underage in Shanghai's, mate. No, proper people in there, mate. You know, a bunch of grebs in the fiddlers. Yeah, here we go. Let's do Hum That Tune. So it's a topical tune. If you think you know what it is and you want to win the prizes, like you really want to win those prizes, get on the timeline as soon as you can with the tune. Here we go. I just need to prepare myself. Name that tune. Come on. What is it? Come on. I know it's easy. I know it's a bit easy, but come on. Let's have it. What was the song? The prizes could be yours tonight. Who's going to be first on the list tonight? Who's going to win it this week? Who's going to get it? Who's going to get the prizes? A pot of Vladimir Putin small man cream and a go on the London Road sideways bungee rope. Who's going to win it this week? Do you want another rendition? Anybody want another rendition? I'm not sure. I'm not sure you deserve it. But, you know, are you ready? Okay. Oh, dear. Stupid boy. I'm even making myself laugh here. This is ridiculous. Oh, we've missed a call. It could be the duck. I've put the ringer on now, so if the duck wants to call back, the ringer is on. Ken Redpath and Heather, me lovely. Congratulations and celebrations. It was war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Well done, Ken. Well done, Heather, me lovely. You've won yourself a pot of Vladimir Putin's small man cream and a go on the London Road sideways bungee rope. It's going to be yours. Yeah. It might be your Russian golfer calling, says Chris Hatton. Oh, you mean Igor Putin? Yeah, the golfer. Yeah. Vladimir's half-brother. No, Igor Putin, he's still on the course. I've seen him. Putin's still putting. He's still on the greens. He's in his funny trousers. And he's got funny balls as well. Yeah. Well, it's called Putin, isn't he? You know, and he's only tiny. But he does use the cream, the small man cream. We would like, says Ken and Heather, me lovely, we would like to donate the small man cream to Mr. Ronnie McBarber. He does. He's a wee man, is Ronnie Barber. And I was hoping he'd be on the show tonight. I was going to invite him on because he's never been on. But I was hoping to have him on the show tonight, but he's otherwise engaged. I don't know. Because he used to be a fighter pilot. I don't know if he's been called up. He may have been. But I will pass on the Vladimir Putin small man cream to Ronnie to make sure he rubs it in. Well, not all over, but, you know, his face. Lucas thinks you're funny, Paul, says Chris. Yeah, I do appeal to that demographic. The tinies. Yeah, they all... They all think I'm stupid. Chris says, my mum liked half a pint of black and tan. What was black and tan? Was that beer and Guinness? Was it? Was that black and tan? Yeah. YMCA, says Carol. No, it wasn't YMCA. Because if it was YMCA, I wouldn't have been able to resist going. I wouldn't. No, it was War by, Putin on the style, says Andy Garth. Yeah. Putin. Yeah, let's just take the mickey out of Vladimir Putin. Should we just do that? Should we just sit here and take the mickey out of Vladimir Putin and wait till he bombs us? Yeah. Ronnie's a test pilot for Airfix, says Ken. Yeah, he's bound to be called up. Yeah. I think Airfix will be going. They'll be going in there. Yeah. But don't worry, because, you know, Boris will sort it. Because what we'll do is we'll just say, don't do it again. Don't invade any more countries. Otherwise, we'll shout a bit more. Yeah. Guinness and bitter, says Chris. Black and tan. Yeah. It was all good. Oh, hold on. Here we go. We do have a call, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hello. It's the duck, everybody. It's the duck. Where have you been? On your holidays? Where does a duck go on holidays? Oh, right. I see. Yeah, you've been on the beach. Yeah. Yeah. Where else you been? Did you have a little night out? What do you like to do when you go on holiday? Do you go anywhere? Do you go anywhere special? Are you Chinese? You like Chinese food? Do you? You got to be careful as well on the beach because you don't want to get too crispy, do you? Well, it's nice to have you back, Duck. Listen, what do you think of Vladimir Putin? Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. Oh, my word. He's not a little prick. You can't say that. Yeah. He's not a warmongering, barbaric arsehole. No, you can't say that. God, it's amazing what ducks can say in just such a small space of time, isn't it? It's astonishing. Crispy duck, lovely, says Mark. Yeah, you got to be careful. If you're going on holiday as a duck, you don't want to go anywhere too hot, do you? In case you do get crispy. And maybe a local Chinese family will just pick you up and take you. No, that's not racist, by the way. I'm thinking of Chinese food, okay? Go on, Bennett. I'm not on the BBC anyway, so who gives a tit? Is it true Ronnie Barber is a tester for Kinder Toys? Yeah, it is. He does test the Kinder Toys out. Yeah, he does do that. Yeah. What else have we got to talk about? I've got to go in a minute because, look, it's 56 minutes down the pan. What else am I going to talk about? Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about the Finnish skier who needed a heat pack at the end of the race to thaw out a particularly sensitive part of his body. Did you see that? The Finnish skier at the Olympics who froze his willy. Did you see it? Yeah. I was going to talk about that, but I don't think we got time for frozen willies because I know you lot. You'll just go off on a tangent and then we'll be talking about all sorts of body parts and we can't really do that. But I do want to do this before I go tonight. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Oh, here we go. Can I do it? Can I share the screen? Share the screen with my tab. Here you go. This is this amazing man who was reporting on the news in Ukraine. And where are we? Here we go. Well, let's do that. So he's reporting on the news in Ukraine. I'll get there in a minute. Hold on. There you go. And this is just astonishing. He does it in about 6 different languages. Oh, hold on. Who's this now? Who's this? Hello? You can't say that about Vladimir Putin. I've got to go, Duck. No, you can't. You're going to get me strung up. So here's this man who reporting on the Ukraine crisis, and he does it in about 6 different languages. This is astonishing. Have a little. Can we get the sound? Where's the sound?
The capital city of Kiev
Here we go.
Is relatively calm. Natürlich sich an einen gewissen Sinn und der Krieg gewinnt, den natürlich schon am Osten, an der Donbass-Region, zwischen der Ukraine, an der russischen Separatisten, dos reuniones que va a mantener el presidente francés hoy en Moscú con el presidente ruso Vladimir Putin y mañana aquí en Kiev con el presidente ucraniano.
He's literally going from one to the other to the other to the other. Portuguese now.
Anúncio de retirada da terça-feira como prova de que os temores da guerra foram fabricados por Ocidente hostil liderado pelos Estados Unidos.
No idea what he's talking about.
La guerre semble probable, c'est aussi simple que cela. Mais il y a encore cette petite lueur d'espoir que la diplomatie puisse arrêter une invasion russe de l'Ukraine.
We got the gist, my friend.
Oh,
German does German as well. But you got the gist. You got the gist of what he was doing. So amazing. So I just put up on Facebook, the foreign lingo that you know, because I only know really things from songs like Je suis un rock star, da da da, encore une fois. What else? What else have we got? What do you know? What's your lingo? What lingo have you got? This from Chrissy says, my hubby has a slightly warped sense of humour, says Chrissy Robinson. We try and learn top 10 phrases when gone on holiday. It wasn't until day 3 that I discovered I was greeting everyone with the well-known Turkish phrase of, my toilet is broken. So her husband had given her a phrase, and all she was doing was go around going, hello, my toilet is broken. Yeah. Alan Brocklebank says, the phrase I've got, the lingo I've got is Jambo Habari Ghani. When my dad was in hospital a few years ago, he got on well with one of the Kenyan nurses who would speak to him in Swahili. I've forgotten most of it from my childhood, but did speak a little Swahili when in Kenya at the time of independence. Also a bit of Malay and Cantonese. We made an effort back then, says Alan. Yeah. Mark says, the joys of an all-inclusive in Spain. Dos cervezas, por favor. Ma grande. Yeah. What else? We Jethro the Milkman. Mancunians in Spain. Hasta any Bista. Back in the 70s, says Tim Bluff, ITV brought us Mind Your Language, from where I learned por favor, accompanied by Sugar of the Shoulders, du pain, du vin, and du beau sang. And of course, Nicole, Papa, Nicole, Papa, Nicole, Papa. I've frozen. I gotta go. See you next week.